NHL News and Notes segment is brought to you by Sheena Boychuk. Yes, you heard that last name right. That's Sheena Boychuk. As a licensed realtor, Sheena has you covered to buy and sell your home in this hot market. She also offers home consulting services to help you upgrade your living space. Check her website out at sheenaboychuk.com and tell her the Two Months Podcast sent you. Realty by Design, your design approach to real estate. Welcome back to the 2 Months Podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Marshall. We have a very special guest. He's been with us before on the podcast. He is a member of the San Jose Sharks. He's played 457 games in the National Hockey League. He's 102 points. He actually tallied his 100th career point in Edmonton, where he played for the Edmonton Oilers, and he's also played for the National Predators, but he is with the Sharks in his second season. We'd like to welcome back to the 2 Months Podcast, Matt Benning. Benning, how's it going?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
No worries. I guess this first off, like, how are things going? I'm here doing some minor hockey stuff. We'll get into that real quick, but how are things with you? How's the family? How's everyone doing?
Good, thanks. Yeah, I mean, everyone's good. It's been a frustrating year for me personally, just with being out, getting surgery and that sort of thing. But on the family side of thing, you get to spend a lot more time with your wife and kids, which is I'm super grateful for that. So that part of it's been good. The weather here has been good, and get to enjoy the sun a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get into some of that other stuff real quick here. But you played for St.Albert Sabres and the Raiders here. We got two guys that are part of our podcast. Their kids are playing. You got any kind of cool, fun stories? I know you've told some stories before, but maybe some new ones that you haven't shared with us before about your great days in St. Albert playing minor hockey.
Oh boy, I have a terrible memory, so I don't know if I've told.
Okay, I remember you saying that too. Yeah, but obviously a tournament like this, what do you think that tournament like this for these kids would be? Some of them do listen to the podcast, but playing in a provincial tournament and the last big tournament of the year, a lot of scouts in the stands. What maybe kind of advice or kind of you can kind of take from stuff like this where you're playing kind of the best on best throughout the year now?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. It's a fun age. There's a lot going on. You got the Bantam draft. There's a lot of scouts around and that sort of thing. I remember that was kind of the first time that I felt pressure and goosebumps for every game. I think as a little kid, you'd have goosebumps for like the finals of a game, or maybe a little bit in minor hockey week. But these big tournaments coming down the stretch, it's a new feeling for a lot of these kids. And my advice would be to create a routine. This is something I use playing now, in the NHL, whether it's my first year game 7 against Anaheim, or big playoff games. Create your routine, stick to your routine. It kind of just keeps yourself, I'm not gonna say sheltered, but it keeps your mind focused. I think it's easy for your mind to wander, and for these kids going through this experience, I think it's natural to want to do sometimes more than what you normally do. And for me, in my experience, stick to your game. Don't do anything that you're not. There's a lot of different roles on a hockey team, and some more glamorous than the others, but
Yeah.
From that, they're all very important. So I've seen lots of kids go out, and if they're a shutdown defenseman, try to be an offensive defenseman in these big games, and a lot of times it doesn't work. Not saying you can't be that person, but I think there's a time and a place, and don't be something you're not.
Yeah, it's they're St. Albert's playing Sherwood Park. It's 1-1 after 2. So this is the first game of the day here for the Triple A's. But did you play in this tournament for the provincial championship, Matt?
Yeah, which tournament is that?
This is the Alberta Provincial Tournament. So it's for the U15 double A's and the U15 Triple A's. So I don't know what it would have been. I don't know if there's an actual name to it. Like, obviously there's like the John Reed, but
Yeah.
It's like all everything around me here just says provincial tournament. So,
I mean,
uh,
I've been a part of, minor hockey provincials.
so you played it all pretty much in your.
Pretty much, yeah. We actually, funny enough, you said or St. Albert versus Sherwood Park. We played them in the provincial finals. They had a good team. Um, they were loaded
Yeah,
in Sherwood Park, and they were always kind of the team to beat. Um, some good memories there. Um, but no, I mean, I played the John Reed tournament. It was special,
yeah.
special for me because my best friend Casey Reed, which is John's son, got called up from Double A to play in that tournament, and that was pretty special. I hit him for a nice breakaway pass. I think I probably would have talked about that in a different podcast with you, but that memory was special.
Nice. Yeah, just taking those home with you are pretty sweet. Those in the memory bank for sure. Um, these tournaments are kind of there's so much going on, but how do you kind of stay grounded in that? With at that age, and have you? Is there anything you went back to even when your brother was playing in these tournaments? It kind of brings back memories there as a family, and obviously you guys with the hockey pedigree you guys have in your family. Was it kind of nice to have go home and you have that experience with your father and your uncles too to kind of keep you grounded in that aspect too?
Yeah, I think tournaments like this, there's a lot of distractions everywhere. Um, and I'd say it's very similar to like the brick tournament.
Yeah.
In the sense that there's a lot of people watching, everyone's buzzing around, there's a lot of distractions, there's sponsors, there's this, there's that.
Social
um
media is bigger now than it was back then too, right? So it's good
yeah,
thing, yeah.
yeah, exactly. What I think, just spend time with your family, with your teammates. I think there's a good balance of enjoying the things that are maybe distracting, as well as um then turning that off and getting ready for the game. Um, I work with a performance mental coach who, we worked on this lots when we had the outdoor game in Nashville. I'm a big country music guy. There's
Yeah.
country music stars everywhere. I was like starstruck. I was like, and I knew this going in. So, we did our best to, you know, enjoy the moment leading up to it. Lots of distractions, like I said earlier, and once that clock starts turning down from an hour and a half before the game, I'm zoned in, and I'm getting into my routine and doing the things that I need to do,
Yeah.
um, you know, to prepare me. So, for those kids, you almost have to experience almost a bad situation where you experience um, the distractions too much, and then you have a bad game, and then reflect on it. And I think for these kids, it's probably right around that age where that happens. So, it's not the end of the world. You'll have lots of hockey left over, but find your routine and stick within it, and enjoy the moment.
Nice, nice. All right, let's transition to the here and now. Obviously, you've had a few surgeries here, as you kind of talked about at the top. But how excited, I guess, for you, how excited are you to kind of get back on the ice? And is there anything you kind of learned in this process of, going through this? Because this is probably obviously the first time you've been away from the game for a while, like from off the ice. But is there anything you kind of learned, or maybe more grateful of the process of the journey of playing pro hockey? Where are you at in your recovery right now?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, so you got to keep me
Yeah,
focused along the way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I guess like
Um,
for right now, I guess like what have you learned through this process of being away from the game on the ice, but obviously you're probably still
yeah,
around the rink and the trainers and seeing the players and still a part of anything that goes on. But just that process of because I obviously it can be challenging. I was
yeah,
talking to Johnny Boychuk the other day, and he's even saying once in a while he's reaching out to kind of text you to see where you're at. It's kind of
yeah,
important to kind of you have great friends. I know he's not a teammate, but he's a great friend of yours that's
yeah,
always kind of checking up too, right?
yeah. Uh, on a lighter note, it's Johnny's checking up on me other than rent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Back in the day, Johnny was my landlord when I played in Edmonton, so usually he was just checking in on rent.
yeah,
But you know what? I think, just on a more serious note, I think it's something that your podcast does so well, is shed the positive light on the game and what it brings to everybody. And I think, as well as me how important that community of hockey, players, staff, everybody is. And I think that that's one thing that I've, missed being around. All I've known for the last, you know, 25 years is hockey, and that's my routine.
Yeah.
And this is a first situation for me where all of a sudden I'm not traveling with the team. The guys are gone for a long period of time. Um, and I think that um, that routine of doing the same things over and over again, I really liked. Um, and I had to find my own routine, and I think I struggled for a little bit. I'm a very busy person, and it was a lot of asking my wife, hey, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? And then after a while, my mental space was just not good and not clear. And I'm just like, hey, I need to, make my new routine for what it is for the next 4 to 6 months of, my recovery. So I think that was an adjustment. You know, not being able to, go out there and skate,
Yeah. Rip the puck around,
sweat,
just bounce off
sweat,
the boards,
you
right?
know,
Yeah.
just sweat. And before the call, we talked about, this week I was for the first time probably ever excited to go running. I jumped on the one of those zero gravity treadmills and jogged at 70% of my weight. And, I was telling the training staff, I said, guys, this is the first time I've ever said I can't wait to go running on a treadmill. So,
Yeah.
we're taking strides in the right direction, and it's exciting that the process is over with, and there's going to be some normal summer training, summer skating in the future, which is something I'm grateful for.
Yeah, and you got a great program back here in Edmonton that helps you out with that. Can you talk about kind of the people you work out with, and how grateful you are to have those relationships, and looking forward to seeing them when they get back here?
Yeah, absolutely. And geez, there's so many people.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I work out at with Barry Butt, who's been you know talking about Johnny Boychuk when I was drafted to the Bruins. Just being from Edmonton, Johnny Boychuk was obviously there and said, "Hey, he told me, hey Benny, you should come work out with Barry." So then listen to Johnny Boychuk,
yeah,
unbelievable career, Stanley Cup champion, done very well for himself. So I went over and worked out. Been with Barry for a very long time now, and it's been great. And I started as a young guy, looking up to guys like Jason Chimera, Johnny Boychuk, and slowly I'm becoming that older guy. I think last year I was the second oldest guy in the gym.
yeah,
But now we got a crew of young guys, Matt Savoy, my brother's in the mix there. Both the Doc brothers, a teammate I had last year, Noah Gregor.
yeah.
There's tons of guys, that are filtering through there that are going to be really good NHL players. And it's only the matter of time.
Yeah, yeah. Barry follows us on Instagram, so anytime we're obviously posting stuff with you, he's always liking it, and always a
Yeah.
big fan of yours for sure. So I don't think I've ever met him before, but I've heard nothing but great things from from Chimera to Boychuk too, and yeah, Chimera's in Airdrie. His girls teams they're playing their first game today too, so it's a busy weekend for a lot of people right now with minor hockey and the last tournament of the year, but. Obviously, the unfortunate side of the game, Matt, is losing some great teammates in like Thomas Hurdle and obviously Noah Gregor and Matt Nieto last year and stuff like that. So you've lost some good teammates. How important were those guys to the organization and the friendships that you had with them too? And Bob McKenzie's a good friend of ours on the podcast, and he's the one that broke the Thomas Hurdle trade just moments before the deadline ended. But kind of even it was funny, like Logan Couture's like Instagram post was like kind of funny too. Is like the shoes on the other foot or whatever. I can't remember the exact quote, but just how the tables have turned. Maybe that's what it was or whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, talk about those guys and what they brought and what you've learned from them, and the things that you've learned you could pass on to the next group here coming into San Jose too.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of turnover from last year to this year. some more guys to mention. Carlson, obviously, Norris defenseman. That's a guy that, um, I think a lot of us wish we could play like him.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
little bits of his game here and there that, you know, I realize that, some of the stuff he does offensively, I won't be able to do. But with that being said, that there's little, things that he does that I can, take and put into my game. So a lot of learning there. Um, you know, Nick Bonino, another guy, Stanley Cup, champion.
yeah,
He's a guy from St. Albert that, super fortunate to meet him last year. He was probably the only, um, one of the only pro guys from St. Albert that I have never met. He kind of just does his own thing.
yeah,
Super, super grateful to meet him. Lots of friendships. I mean, spend so much time with those guys. The running joke is you spend more time with your teammates than you do your wife.
yeah,
And we're really busy for a lot of the year, and we're spending a lot of time. Hey, Moose. Um, with our teammates. So, there's that side, and then there's the side of, me and Tommy were really close. Both of our kids are around the exact same age. They're all, both of them are boys. Our wives got along really well together. They go to school together. So there's that side of things that, a lot of people don't see. And, it is a part of our business, but it doesn't make it easy. That's for sure.
no, it was even texting to Foley there the other day, and it just felt bad for him because he's getting the kind of the Canadian car wash, as you can say. He's played on 4 of the 7 Canadian teams now, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it's there's a human side of it too, right? It's it yeah, just imagine any job that you're at, and all of a sudden, at a drop of the hat, they're like, "Hey, you're getting moved to, you're accountant in Edmonton, but you're getting moved to be an accountant in, Vancouver or
Yeah.
something like that, right?" It's just all those things that kind of keep you grounded or changed in a drop of a hat. And I could see why, like, certain players have had maybe the struggles of, at first when they get moved. Getting traded is hard. As fans, we love it. We're all craving for it. Our
Yeah.
ratings go up when we have like Darren Dreger and those guys on, and because everyone wants to know the gossip, where this guy's going, where this guy's going,
Yeah.
right? But there's also a human side of it too. And I always remember Elliot Friedman. He's always kind of cautious in what he has to put out there because there are families involved, and some people don't watch social media, but some of the fans or family members do. So that stuff might get back to them that way, where at that moment they might not want to hear that. But there definitely is a human side of it too. So going into this summer, and obviously some goals for next year, getting some things taken care of with these surgeries. How eager are you to obviously get back on the ice, and looking forward to a great year next year, and kind of a new start. And you're obviously going to have some new faces, but some familiar faces in San Jose too, in the future that the organization has here.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's an exciting time for me, maybe as an older guy on the team to, help shape the culture of the future, maybe. We got a lot of young faces around the locker room, guys that are, 8, 10 years younger than me. So I mean, I think with every opportunity, regardless of where it is in the NHL, there's a lot of positive things, and those are the things I look forward to. And getting to know those guys, what are their families like, where they grew up, a lot of those things. Like I mentioned earlier, you spend so much time with these guys, you get to know every little detail, maybe even too much sometimes, about them, and that's exciting for me. So, it's a big summer for me. There's going to be, we got a lot of defensemen, a lot of competition for jobs. I think right now we got 6 right-handed defensemen. So I think, there's some uncertainty from a lot of guys, going forward into the summer, but that's something I can't worry about. I just got to focus on, my rehab schedule, getting back on the ice, getting my skills to where they need to be in order to be effective out there.
Yeah, yeah, you're a great leader, Matt. And obviously some struggles I've gone through, you and I've just chatted about privately and whatnot. And and he's like, you talk about that hockey community is so great, and I've been in haven't been now just kind of being involved at the NHL level here, and doing some work with the Calgary Flames and being around their locker room, and just the great opportunity that has presented me. It's pretty sweet to get to know some of these guys, and like Dan Villadar from the Flames is going for hip surgery. They just announced that today, so it's at the end of the year process for him, and that's going to be a struggle. But this community is great. You're a great leader. There's a great video we just shared on our Instagram story of Nick Saban, who I think is a hell of a coach, hell of a person, done such a great level at the college level and in college football. And he talks about what a great leader is. And, and a great leader is at the end of the day is listening, how you listen and how you can, understand someone's situation. And I think you do a great job with that. And, looking forward to kind of this next process for you and, taking on a leadership role at the San Jose Sharks, which you already had. And then some people always think like you have to wear a letter to be a leader. You don't have to wear a letter to be a leader, in my opinion, in any parts of life. The last question to you is like, how do you look at the leadership? You've been around a lot of leaders in the game too, but how excited is that an opportunity to kind of take on, through this process and, going through, the summer and obviously when that training camp starts, competing for a job, but showing the leadership in that part too.
Yeah, it's I'm very fortunate that Mike Gurr brought me on for the 4 years that he did, and for me personally, I think that part of that responsibility falls on helping shape the culture here, and whatever that may look like. So I know it's not the easiest thing sometimes when things are really easy when you're winning games. Everyone's mood's great,
Yeah.
things are great. But the reality of sports is one team wins, one team loses. And that it's been the year that it's been here in San Jose. So part of it has been I've been away from the guys for most of the year. So that part is just eating away at me
Yeah.
in terms of making sure that guys are doing okay. The mood's right, and that sort of things. The things that I can help control and help shape. So I'm excited to looking forward to that for next year. And we're gonna have some new faces. Probably have some guys coming up that we've drafted in the last couple of years. Excited to see what they got, see what they're gonna bring to the team, and see the bright future for this organization.
Yeah. All right. Well, all the best to you. Look forward to kind of seeing you around this summer, and maybe get a golf game in. I suck, as you know, you saw last year. So, but maybe we'll get something else in. I don't know. Maybe go pass you some pucks or something like that. But it'll be fun to see you around this summer, and all the best in the training process and the recovery. And again, all the best to you and your family. Really appreciate you taking the time with us this afternoon.
Awesome. Yeah, anytime. You guys are great, and like I said earlier, shed light on the positive things of hockey and players' life. So I got nothing but respect for you guys.
Okay, appreciate it. It means a lot.
Thanks.
Get back to you.